Hello everyone, welcome once again to Arrow Discussions. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
And today we are back from the mid-season break, and we're talking about the 11th episode of this season, 10th episode this season, Blast Radius. Eric, why don't you start us off, man? Get us into our general discussion.
All right, well, I don't know about you, but I think it's really telling that we had like an hour-long conversation before we recorded and didn't bring up Arrow, which is pretty uncommon because usually we're like, oh yeah, we have to bring it up when we talk. Oh, and this happened. I thought this episode was really lackluster and mostly forgettable. When I watched it the first time, like maybe an hour after watching it, I was like, what happened on the island? Was it an islandless episode? And I was struggling to remember things from this episode. Rewatching it, I was like, okay, this is a lot better than I thought it was. And then the second half is exactly. I was like, oh, I think this is the weakest episode of the season thus far. I think it's a real bummer that the season or the half season finale was so strong, and then to come back and just kind of give us like a generic episode, and you had that big reveal with Slade, and we didn't even see him this episode, and
Well, I wasn't expecting that we would immediately see him again coming from that. I felt like that was kind of a big audience reveal, and then, we would have to wait and
I
see.
thought that was the kind of thing where like, well, now we know Blood's working for him, so now we'll get a scene, an episode of Blood reporting to him or something
Oh,
like
good
that.
point. Yeah, you're right. In a lot of ways, I felt like a lot of the things that were done in this episode could have easily been put in like 2-3 episodes ago.
Yeah, I felt like a lot of this was like, I don't know, like stuff that I would have expected to be like in another episode. Like I feel like I could have taken a lot of this and put it in something that in like a like a subplot to another episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that it's not moving forward at all.
No, it's moving a little bit. It's kind of a boring episode, I felt.
I think we've gotten well, and I mean, like, let me just say, I enjoyed it. But it certainly isn't moving things forward at the pace that we got used to.
It's
there,
not bad.
We have been so spoiled this season.
Yeah, this feels like a season 1 episode.
With better writing.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the pacing of season 1.
Yeah, and I mean,
and maybe that's why it felt slow and boring to me, was because I was used to the fast pace that we'd had for the first 9 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, like, when you say random and generic, I don't think it's the kind of episode that is just kind of a one and done random interlude thing. It's still about everything this season's been about, moving things forward a little bit. But I think what's distracting me about it a little bit, and I don't know how else you would do this, is I feel like we're having to watch our characters learn all this stuff we know already.
Yeah, I actually had that too. There was that.
Why it's feeling a little bit I mean, sluggish isn't the right word, because this is the first time it's felt like the pacing has slowed down, and this is kind of normal TV pacing, right? But I mean, like, for the rest of this, for what we've gotten used to, it does feel like it's slowed down quite a bit.
Well, I think maybe the problem was, now that you're saying that, I hadn't thought of it, but like in this episode, Laurel finds out that Blood is evil. We've known that since what, like episode 1?
Not that early, but we assumed it. But yeah, pretty early we knew that already. Yeah.
We have there was another one that I was going to bring up. It was with Roy, where she finds out that Roy has superpowers. And we knew that last episode. And then of course we have kind of the fact that this told us that Felicity and Oliver are getting together, right?
It told us that they're gonna keep playing with that. Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's got to happen at this point. One of the things that I really kind of disliked about this one is I have disliked this in other places this season. I'm really getting sick of this season, us having to manufacture some kind of tension between those two characters, and then they patched it all up at the end.
I really didn't. This felt like maybe this is why I said it felt kind of generic. This felt like a standard TV show oh, they like each other and they're being like mean at each other. And like I feel like the show is better than that. And I was
I think this too, and it made Oliver. I felt like the writers threw Oliver under the bus a little bit with her in this
for
because
no
I
reason
just
he's just kind of being a jerk to her because she likes another guy.
yeah, and it's worse because that guy is currently in a coma,
Yeah.
and because they found a lot of respect for each other last episode.
And I really dug that he's in a coma. Like I didn't expect that. I didn't expect her to be in Central City at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, I think it's kind of neat that he doesn't immediately wake up, have superpowers, and automatically become the Flash. Although I hope he's not in a coma too long. You don't want it to be one of those sorts of
I
things
want
where
episode one of The Flash to be he wakes up with a beard.
he wakes up from a coma.
With
Yeah,
a
you don't want it
beard.
to.
I want because this show opened with Oliver with a beard. I want
That's
symmetry.
fair. Yeah, I don't want to just go negative. There's plenty to like here. I really like that Barry's presence is still felt in this. I kind of expected the very next episode we'd kind of just drop his we'd kind of just drop even talking about him, and also going along with that, I'm gonna disagree with something you said a minute ago that we already knew Roy had superpowers. We knew that he had been infected by Mirakuru, and you and I guessed he probably would have superpowers. But the fact that they are going all the way there, we couldn't have been completely sure they were going to
I
do
thought
that.
we
I
knew
figured,
that last episode. I thought he had super strength.
do they show us that?
I thought so. I mean, I didn't go back and rewatch it,
I thought
so.
he just I thought he just got stabbed with a syringe and
Oh, I thought he had.
that was about
I
it.
might be wrong. Um,
But anyway, what I was gonna say is I really like that we introduced the supernatural stuff and it's not just to establish the Flash show and then we go right back to the fully grounded stuff with this show.
oh
I
no,
like that
I
we're
like
still
that too.
moving forward with all that. And I mean, like, again, maybe that's a given and we should have expected it, but I feel the need to give the show a little bit of props for it because I think it could have been really easy for them to just go, okay, now that we've established Flash, we don't have to do that anymore.
I mean, I kind of complained about the scene where Thea finds out, but when he lifts that light post, that's a full blown superhero scene,
I
and
like
maybe
that
the
a
first
lot
we've gotten this
because
whole show, right?
yeah, and the thing I really like about that is that she discovers it right after it happens, and we don't have to have any like we don't have to have episodes and episodes of like convenient unconsciousness
Yes.
and that kind of thing. You could complain that that scene was maybe a little bit contrived just to drop something right on one of our major characters when nobody else was getting that kind of hurt,
Yeah.
just so that he would have to do his super strength. But you know what? I'm going to give him a pass on it because I like that she got to see it, that she sees it right away because a contrived sort of scene or not, maybe they could have done it in a more organic kind of way. Your boyfriend's got super strength and healing factor. You're gonna find that out really, really fast.
I really, I really wish you had actual cards that you could do in videos. You're like, I'm gonna give that a pass. Um,
um, don't get me wrong; it's still kind of
no,
cheap
no, no, no,
storytelling,
you're right.
but
I
it's
didn't really mind it that much either. It's
but I didn't mind it as much as I might have. I guess partly because it's still really hard for me not to compare the show sometimes to Smallville, and that's a thing that that they learned from that show not to do.
right.
So that's
I
nice.
have a big positive thing that I'm gonna save for the end, so I'm gonna stay on my on a couple negative things.
So you're just gonna keep being mean.
So Shrapnel's just the Mandarin without the funny voice, right? Like just
I
generically anti-American political, like no real motivation, no real ideology, just they're bad.
Yeah, although I got the sense that he was one of those guys that was set up here, not all that interesting to begin with, and has the potential to become something cool
Do
later.
you think he's coming back?
Yes, because they didn't kill him.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I just kind of
That's the
assumed he
first
was a
thing.
one-off.
He gets taken to jail. The other reason I think that he's probably not a one-off is because they've been going more full tilt comic book stuff. We know that they're probably going to eventually do real Solomon Grundy after what happened
And
to
they
Cyrus.
keep mentioning him.
And they yeah, I think that you take a guy that has such a crazy power as Shrapnel in the comics, and this guy is so removed from that and has nothing to do whatsoever with that guy. I think he comes back later and becomes something a little closer to that.
Okay, I'd assumed he was a one-off, and I thought he just really, I maybe if he had a cool accent, I would have gone with it. But like, I really felt like he was just like these capitalist
Oh
dogs.
no, I agree with you. I thought he was incredibly generic. But we had the same thing with what's his name? Not Deathstroke.
Deadshot.
Deadshot, and we like him now.
Well, yeah, but he started off as like something completely different. Like, you're right. I guess he could change.
This guy's well, and also I have no stake in shrapnel. I had to look that guy up. I didn't know who the
Yeah,
heck that was.
I had to look that up too. But
But you introduce a character who in the comic who you're going to use as a bad guy who in the comics had a suit made of like living metal, and I'm not saying they're going to go that far and actually have living metal, but I think it's likely this guy comes back and he's got a big metal suit.
is he a Titans villain? No, he's a Doom Patrol villain.
He's a Doom Patrol, yeah,
Interesting.
and on Suicide Squad,
Created
I
by
think,
Eric Larson. Interesting.
or a Suicide Squad. Yeah, he was. I think like '88 was the
Is this
date
the
that I
first
saw.
Eric Larson created character ever brought to screen? Oh
Maybe,
no, you know
maybe.
what? Savage Dragon got a cartoon. I'm just being mean to Eric Larson. Um,
I thought you meant in live action, but in live action, probably so.
let's see. What
Anyway,
else?
what other notes do you have, Eric?
Okay, so there's a scene between Laurel and Blood, where she has this line that I wrote down. You talk about being an orphan, but not a lot about your parents. And this is kind of in reference to the fact that he just made this big speech about being an orphan. Did he ever mention being an orphan before that? Because she said it like he just goes on and on about being an orphan. Pre
I
this episode, has he ever mentioned that?
That's a great point. I didn't think of it. He might have once or twice, but I mean, yeah, you and I both. Neither of us remember it.
Yeah,
So
the way she said it was like really suspicious and like, well, you never stop talking about how you're an orphan. Like I just kind of feel like maybe there's
it feels like an afterthought.
I was just assuming that like there's all these dinners that they've been having where like she's like, how's the chicken? He's like, well, being an orphan, I really appreciate the taste of chicken.
I don't want to I don't want to just assume that this was an afterthought. It might be that there's a couple speeches early on in the season
That
where he
we're
says
just
that
not
we don't
remembering because this is
and
the
we don't
first time they
remember
draw
it.
attention to it.
Yeah, and I'm sure somebody that remembers it will mention in the comments. I don't remember, but yeah, that's a great point. Though. I didn't think of that.
I don't actually have a lot more. I have two more things. One of them is my best moment, so I'll probably just save that.
Sure,
The other one is I thought they really got Laurel back to where she was in season one. I thought she was really good this episode, and
me
she
too.
seemed to be
She was
doing
fine.
the only interesting things in this whole episode.
She has a lot more of a point all of a sudden for existing than Diggle does.
Yeah, she has like she's doing things for the plot and finding things out outside of, our heroes. And
I want to know why it was so hard to find a place for her earlier in the season when all of a sudden now she's investigating
why
it and
didn't
stuff.
we open with this?
I don't know. And given that well, here's the thing. I wonder if the idea of her kind of pseudo dating Blood wasn't something they didn't come up with early enough. Because I would have opened the season with that. Like,
Well, here they make it seem like she's been dating him to get information, but they
right.
don't treat it like a reveal. And I thought that was weird. Like she just kind of says it matter of factly twice. And I was like, you know
Well,
what?
we
Maybe
see
I would
that.
have liked her better if I'd known she'd been doing this kind of stuff the whole season.
Well, yeah, the thing is, like the last couple episodes or so, she's been kind of hanging around him and
But
and
I
and
thought
doing.
they were just together. Like I never got the impression that she was investigating him.
I thought we already kind of had a little bit of that last episode. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm not sure. But I mean, I guess the whole thing was they felt like they needed to have a big long depression period for her after Tommy's death,
She's still
and
popping pills, so that's like
and
still a
that they couldn't
thing.
and that they couldn't have her immediately jump into a relationship with the big bad guy if they did that. And also, if she like immediately started dating him, then it seems like it'd be more likely that she would like him and not buy that he was, doing anything evil really early, right? So like she'd be the last person that would think to start investigating him.
Right.
Whereas right now, she's kind of like you said hanging around him because she's not sure about him, and everybody else is buying him hook line and sinker. Do you do you buy Oliver being so trusting of him right now? Because I'm kind of going with it.
No, no, I thought that was great. I really liked I loved the ending of this episode where
I did too.
it mirrors her fight his mom saying she's the devil or he's the devil. Really well done. Like that actress really did a good job. But mirroring
Yeah,
that with them shaking hands, I thought was just fantastic.
yeah, I like that a lot too. And I also thought that the first scene where uh, Green Arrow shows up and he reaches for his gun and then waits to find out why he's there, that was good stuff.
All right, I have maybe a theory about why they made Laurel so unlikable at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so she burned all her bridges. Now she essentially has she's holding all the cards with in regards to blood. She has no way to get that information to Arrow.
Why do you say that?
Well, be,
Oh, because she burned the bridges. Yeah, good call. I'm
so
sorry.
so maybe
I'm
that's maybe they
yeah.
did that to dramatically play up. Okay, now she knows this stuff. She can't tell him. Maybe I don't know. We'll
It,
see.
well, maybe so. The only kind of crack in your theory there is that she is working directly with her father, who is working directly with the Arrow.
Yeah, and she's kind of still friends with Oliver. So yeah, maybe not.
Which is the reason I immediately questioned what you were talking about. Yeah, I mean, you make a good point there, but I'm not sure that that's where they'll ultimately be going.
I just
Let's
thought she rebounded really strong this I mean after really disliking her for the first half of the season, I thought with kind of a lackluster follow up to what was the I thought the best episode of the season thus far, I thought she was really good this episode. I thought she had a lot to she finally had a reason to be there and things to do and you're right, Diggle's just standing there.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, he was so good last season and
Well,
the
and
actor's still good.
he's still fine. He's consistent,
There's just
but he's mostly this episode. He's just playing referee.
and he does that most episodes. Well, he doesn't play referee, but he's kind of just the guy that's just kind of stands there. He doesn't really do a lot of field work. I'm not sure what he does as part
I
of
don't.
Team Arrow anymore.
I miss his. Well, I mean, he's still kind of, kind of some grunt work. He'll show up and punch a guy
Yeah,
here and
occasionally.
there, but like I miss his speeches. Like he was the voice. He was the voice of wisdom.
Well, the problem is that they've kind of he kind of won Oliver over, so now there's not a lot for him to do. I'm calling it. He's dying. He has nothing to do, right? Like they're gonna kill him because they don't have anything to do with for him.
Well, and remember, I thought they were going to kill him at the end of last season.
I we both did. But no, I I bet you we get one more episode that's really focused on him, makes us really care about him, and then
And then they kill him. Yeah,
because
boy,
they
I
just
hope
don't have
you're
anything.
wrong.
He doesn't have anything to do.
Yeah, you're right, but that doesn't necessarily mean they'll kill him.
Oh.
Like they might. It could be a thing where they don't really realize that, right? Like we've seen this with other shows where like a character is just kind of there, and the people making the show for whatever reason think that he's really important, but you're watching the show going, why is that guy there?
Although I will say this is probably the inverse of most of that, where most of the time it's that character that the creators like, and you're like, why are they still here? They've outlived their purpose. Whereas
Yeah.
here, I'm like, all right, he's still here. I want him to be doing something. I want him to be part of things more. I really wish he functioned more as yeah, he should be like you know how Bruce Wayne dresses up like Lefty Knox and what's the other one? What's the one he mainly uses?
Well, as soon as you said that, I couldn't think of the obvious one.
Yeah, yeah. For some reason,
Uh,
Lefty Knox sticks with
you
me
to- yeah, you totally threw me off when you said that. I was like, "What is that? How do you remember
because
that?"
it's in Heart of Hush, and for some
It's
reason it sticks with me.
it's Matches Malone.
Matches Malone. That's it. I kind of wish he was that for Oliver. Like he was the guy
Oh,
that
good
was in
point.
like
Yeah,
the
he's
scummy
the
part
undercover
of
guy.
town with all the contacts and
Well, yeah, why isn't he going out and getting his hands dirty?
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. And he hasn't done anything super cool since the Russian episode.
And that was his episode. It seems like the only time he gets to do anything is when the episode's about him and his problems.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I guess it's a better problem to have to look at a character and say, "God, I love that character. Please use him more." Than get rid of that
yeah,
guy.
at least he's not Lana Lang.
But what really adds insult to injury is suddenly Laurel's kind of more okay, and she's the character we've been saying, okay, get rid of her, she's
And
pointless.
now she has something to do, which pushes him even more into the background. There's even
Yeah.
less screen time for him now.
Well, let's go ahead and jump on best moment, worst moment. What was your favorite moment of this
All right,
episode,
my
Eric?
favorite moment was the what I think is a hysterical CW inversion, the makeout scene, where it totally plays like a CW makeout scene. Music starts, they hit the shelf, glass falls, and the music stops instantly. Like 10
I didn't
seconds
even
into the
notice
yeah,
that.
like 10 seconds into the song, it just cuts.
Yeah, and you know what? That scene was actually kind of, I don't know, it was a little sophisticated the way they did it because, I guess playing on our expectations for it being a CW show, because it was almost they almost did kind of two cliches there. Not just the makeout scene with that kind of music right there, but then right before that, they almost did the Thea dramatically exits
Yeah, yeah.
angrily
Well,
without,
and the
without saying anything.
improbably furious makeout scene against an unstable object, which is just all over CW shows, and I was convinced it was a joke. Like I mean, the scene kind of plays seriously, but they I think it's an intended joke at like the CW type shows where
That's
because it
that's
starts the musical song as they make out, they lean up against a shelf, music cuts, thing falls and hurts him. And
there is a little bit of kind of wink wink nod nod. We are better than this we are too good for this network
yeah, and
in the show.
I love that scene. I thought it was really funny. And I mean,
Uh,
dramatically, it was good too.
my favorite moment, and a lot of the time I pick a whole scene. This time I'm going with what my actual category name is, and a single moment, which is, and I don't know why, I really like it when Arrow shoots the wire on the bomb trigger.
Yeah, that was cool.
Shrapnel, he's holding that bomb trigger, and he's like, I'm gonna blow everything up. and
Next
then
episode, I'm gonna go really literal, and I'm gonna be like, all right, going with best moment. That scene where Officer Lance raised his eyebrow, great moment.
that was a great moment. I thought it was neat. Maybe this is a little strange of me to say. I thought it was neat that like within 3 minutes we saw Oliver do two really good arrow shoots at things, because like he blows up the bomb that goes over Blood's head, which I thought was cool, and then right after that he does the bomb trigger. Also, Green Arrow on a motorcycle is really cool. I could totally use more of
Oh,
that.
and right before that scene, there's another thing that I thought was a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We're better than CW. When he's standing on the roof and he's talking to Felicity, and she makes some kind of like snide, snarky, like backhanded, like insult, and he's like, "Come on, we're working."
Yeah.
I thought that was a little bit of a. We know we're on CW, but we're not doing that. But no,
Although you could also just read it as my arms are tired. Hurry up.
how long do I have to stand in this pose?
There's
Is the shot done yet?
you realize that you're retaliating for my getting angry for admittingly not a good enough reason earlier could result in my death. Okay, well, did you have a worse moment?
I just for worst moment, I just put overall meh. I didn't have like a single like I really didn't care for this. Actually, I guess maybe I could just say Um, I felt like the island stuff should have been like one scene in another episode. I felt like three scenes of Slade kind of going berserk and then calming down was unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, at the end, at least they kind of set us up for more stuff to come with the
Yeah, when he runs
with the
away with the
message.
Miraku.
Well, and with the message from Ivo.
Yeah.
Mine was just broadly, like I said earlier, I wasn't real. I really didn't like Oliver questioning Felicity's performance the way he did.
Yeah, no, it was just yeah.
Just what I resisted
And
that.
it
I don't
seems
know.
to just be because he's jealous that she was with Barry, which comes off
Yeah.
making him seem even more like a jerk because not only has he been with two women this season, but
Who was the other one?
uh Sarah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Um, so not only that, but
Wait. Did they actually like get back together? Get back together?
she was sleeping at his place. I kind of assumed
Oh, see, I don't. I was never 100% sure about that.
he was at least making googly eyes.
Well, yeah,
But
sure,
but
but I
you
mean,
know,
like,
not only that, but the dude's in a coma.
yeah. Well, and also I think it kind of hurts the whole my friend gave me this mask thing.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Wouldn't it have been
Uh,
great if on the rooftop he was like, my friend gave me this. He's totally a jerk. He's trying to take my girl, but he gave it to me before he's in a coma.
I didn't think that this episode on its own was really playing too much with its own themes beyond just the stuff that we've been building through the whole season. So we can skip that part if unless you have something.
I really all I've got is that it. I mean, that ending scene probably most to the forefront brings forward to the forefront. The the whole idea of masks and identity and all of that we've been building. And there's actually a specific line that Laurel says uh, to Oliver where she says something about blood being mysterious and she feels like he's hiding something and that he reminds him of Oliver. He reminds
Yeah.
her of Oliver. So yeah, I thought that this was really. I mean, I guess it's more of the same, but I thought it was bringing it a little bit more to the forefront.
Okay, so as far as guest stars go, I did a double take when I saw this because I totally did not catch it watching it. Is is Shrapnel really Simon from Firefly?
What?
Yeah, that's what I'm reading.
No
Sure
way.
didn't look like him to me, but
You know what? When he was in the toy shop, giving that woman that train that I'm sure her son really wants, um, he looked really familiar, and I kept thinking of Siler from Heroes when he's being nice, but I couldn't place it. Yeah, now I can kind of see it.
yeah, that's apparently who that is.
Oh man, he did a great
Yeah,
job.
that's Sean Mayer.
Wow. I mean,
I was definitely um flabbergasted when I looked that up.
yeah, I knew he looked familiar, but I couldn't place it. Yeah, that makes total sense. I thought he just looked familiar because he was reminding me of Siler. Um, but yeah, well, I mean, too bad they didn't give him like a lot to work with, but he did a really good job.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. But that's part of why I'm hoping that they do more stuff with him later. Because I mean, we both know that guy can act.
Yeah,
Did you have a favorite line?
I did. It's also from the makeout scene because it reminded me of something that I forgot.
Eric's just all about the makeout scenes.
All about the makeout scenes. Hey, she looked really good that scene. I don't usually say that, but something about her that scene, she looked really good. But
It was good. It was a good wardrobe
yeah.
episode.
But when he asks her how did he, get so lucky to be with a girl like her, and her answer is, "You stole my purse." Because I'd forgotten that that's how they got together. Like that's how they met. Like we're just kind of so far past that. It's just I was like, oh yeah, this is the first time we see him. So yeah, that was my favorite line. What was your
The
favorite line?
one, well, the one I wrote down was actually more because of Oliver's reaction to the line, which was when they're at the party and Moira says you've taken Oliver's hobby and turned it into a successful business, and then he just mouths hobby.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I just thought that was hilarious.
I
Stephen Amell cracks me up.
he's good. Uh,
Only comic book reference I wrote down was Shrapnel.
yeah, I didn't pick up any other ones.
There might have been other things. There always is stuff that's like really well embedded and stuff. I didn't actually look up anything extra this time. That's all I noticed. Just with my naked eye.
Yeah, I didn't catch anything else.
Besides things that we've had
I
before.
don't really know much about Brother Blood. I probably should have looked it up before we started. I don't know if that's his backstory from the comics that he killed his parents or not.
Yeah, I don't know that either. Oh man, we're not prepared, Eric.
No, we are so unprepared.
Okay, do you
Good
have any
thing we're not getting
predictions?
paid for this.
Do you have any predictions?
I do. All right, so we've got Roy being kind of a superhero. I'm gonna call it. This is really forward thinking. I don't think it's gonna be this season. I wouldn't be surprised if by season three we have Oliver having some kind of internal crisis about just being outclassed, and that I have a feeling that this world's gonna escalate very quickly, and it's gonna become a show about a guy with a bow and arrow fighting a super, in a super world.
Yeah, that's great. You might be right. I had a couple, Eric. One of them just broadly is I don't think Shadow's gonna stay dead because I don't think people stay dead in this show.
What was that?
I don't know. I had a pop up.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, what do you think? I just don't think Shadow stays dead. I think something happens. She comes back.
Um, you think maybe Slade brings her to like Lazarus Pit or something?
Yeah, and my other prediction is actually about that. I think that the Lazarus Pit is gonna be a pool of Mirakuru.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
Because it has too many of the same properties. Now the question, of course, is does that mean that this Razagul, when we finally get to him, is not like a bazillion years old and that he just starts using it, or that he's maybe had this Mirakuru stuff for a lot of years, but like it resurrects you. It gives you like a supernaturally great physical form, and it makes you, we've discovered this episode, mentally unstable. I think Mirakuru is Lazarus.
Um, well, I was just looking up Brother Blood's origin, and it says
Okay.
here, uh,
Yeah.
uh, Brother Sebastian killed another priest to gain possession of what he believed to be Christ's prayer shawl. The shawl gave him invulnerability and reduced his aging. Do you think maybe
Yeah.
he's also been in the Lazarus Pit? I mean, that's a comic book thing, so I was.
Or that he's gonna start using this stuff, or that he has been using it all along.
Yeah, I think maybe this show might kind of just condense all of that kind of stuff from
It's one thing.
DC into one thing. Uh,
It's too redundant, Eric. I don't see them doing Mirakuru and Lazarus.
yeah, no, no, you're right, you're right.
That's all I had.
Yeah, that's all I had.
All right, let's go ahead and go on to trivia. What was your question from last time? What was the answer?
All right, my question for last time was there was a novel that was turned into a movie serial, and the movie serial inspired Green Arrow, and what was that serial slash book called? And it was called The Green Archer. So we know how original Green Arrow is.
That should have just been his nickname this whole show.
The Green Archer, yeah.
Mine from last time, of course, from that episode was in the Solomon Grundy rhyme, what happens to Grundy on Tuesday? And the answer is he's christened on Tuesday.
Ah.
And Eric, what is your question for this week,
My
sir?
question for this week is how many children has Slade had? I don't know if he has any children in New 52, so I'm going pre New 52 continuity. How many children has he had? And bonus points if you can tell me how many of them are dead.
Eric, my question for this week is, you know that lady that you mentioned who bought the train set?
Yeah.
Well, my question is, how much did she pay for it?
I know the answer, and it was too much, and her kid doesn't want it.
Before we go, Eric found something really funny on CBR that I wanted to share with everybody. I'll try to remember to put the link to this in the description so that everybody can see it if they haven't already. There is a unofficial Arrow kill count on CBR that is keeping track of how many people got killed first season versus this season, and how much less Arrow himself is killing people. And the whole thing looks like a public service announcement. It's quite hilarious. And it says in season 2, Arrow is killing 60% less people per episode than in season 1. And then they break it down and they give you the average of how many people
Last
like
season averaged 6 kills per episode. This season averages 5 kills per episode. That doesn't
And
necessarily mean Arrow is killing 6 people per episode and 5 people per episode.
yeah, it actually tells us the average of Arrow himself. It's 2.4 first season, 2.4, Aaron. And season 2 it's just one person per episode. So I love that in the season that is all about him, Oliver becoming a hero and not killing people, he still is averaging one an episode.
I love the little chart that they've got at the bottom where it's like, oh, he's kind of cooled down. Nope, he's killed a bunch of people. It's kind
Then
of
it shoots right back up, and it's always on landmark episodes too.
yeah.
Like you look at the mid season episode for season 1, and it's right at the top. This thing is just fantastic. It looks like we should be studying this in school or something. Like
It looks like it should be like on the wall next to lockers. Just to let you know,
um,
kills are down this year. Actually, they might have that in the Buffy school. Ever since you joined this school, fatalities have gone down a tremendous amount
yeah, that's why at prom we're gonna give you this umbrella.
because you're our protector.
Because you're our protector. Well, everybody, thanks as always for listening to Arrow Discussions. We sure appreciate it. And I think we're right back to another one next week. So we will see you again next Monday. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.